Every thought you hold in your mind is a seed, and every seed has its appointed harvest. The young generation today, the millennial spirits, are standing at the threshold of abundance, yet many hesitate, not knowing the path that leads to the treasures life has promised. Wealth is not a thing of chance. It is a reflection of the inner consciousness, a mirror of your beliefs, and the natural outcome of your persistent affirmations. To gather the golden opportunities that surround you, you must first understand that the law is impartial and ever ready to respond to your inner directive. The world of finance, investment, and enterprise may appear complex and overwhelming, yet the principles that govern prosperity are simple and eternal. The mind that is attuned to the infinite recognizes opportunities where others see obstacles, and the hand that acts in faith gathers riches with ease. The millennial seeker must therefore cultivate a clear vision of what they desire, for vague desires produce vague results, and the universe only responds to definiteness. Picture, in your imagination, the life you wish to live, the wealth you wish to command, and hold that picture daily, with gratitude and unwavering faith. In these times, the avenues of wealth are manifold. Some are drawn to entrepreneurship, where the courage to act upon inspired ideas produces immediate fruit. Others find their calling in investments, digital enterprises, or skills that can be multiplied and marketed to the world. But whatever the method, the law remains the same. Prosperity flows to the one who is expectant, receptive, and persistent. Every obstacle, every challenge, is but a signpost directing you to refine your thoughts, to release fear, and to align yourself with the higher wisdom that governs supply. Many young souls have been taught that wealth is a struggle, a battle to be fought with sweat and worry. Yet struggle is born of misunderstanding. Abundance is the natural state of life, and all that is needed is to attune yourself to its rhythm. Speak the words of confidence, affirm the channels of success, and act in accordance with the intuition that whispers the steps of victory. Money, ideas, and opportunities flow like a river to those who refuse to be discouraged and who trust the unseen forces that guide all things toward fulfillment. In the art of building lasting prosperity, it is not merely the pursuit of money that matters, but the cultivation of habits, beliefs, and attitudes that magnetize it. Your thoughts, words, and actions are constantly creating your world. If you think scarcity, you will meet scarcity. If you think abundance, you will be drawn to abundance. Therefore, begin each day with the vision of success, speak words that inspire confidence and security, and step forward courageously in the directions your heart points. The world is abundant, and the strategies of wealth are not hidden. They are the natural unfolding of a conscious mind aligned with infinite supply. The power of definite vision. How a clear mental picture of wealth attracts opportunities. Every human being carries within them the power to create, and that power is awakened by the clarity of the vision held in the mind. To the young seeker, the millennial spirit, the world may seem full of distractions, opinions, and shifting trends, yet the secret of wealth building lies in the simplicity of holding a definite vision. When the mind is fixed upon a clear purpose, the universe aligns, unseen forces move in harmony, and circumstances are drawn to meet the expectation. A vision that is vague, unformed, or full of doubt cannot summon abundance. The law of manifestation responds only to the precise and definite, and the conscious mind must recognize that whatever it pictures with conviction will inevitably take form. It begins with knowing exactly what you desire. Many wander in search of wealth without ever pausing to define it. They speak of success, yet do not see its contours. They long for prosperity, yet have no picture to hold. The mind that wishes to command riches must first hold the picture, not in words alone, but in the imagination, vivid and alive. Imagine the life you wish to live, the home, the freedom, the experiences, and the contribution you wish to make. See it in detail, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality in the mind. Imagine yourself already living in the abundance you seek. Let your imagination paint every scene with the colors of certainty, joy, and fulfillment, for the universe responds to the clarity of your mental image. Definiteness is the magnet of fortune. The young generation today is often surrounded by a cacophony of ideas, influences, and advice, yet only the mind that chooses, decides, and declares its aim can gather the treasures waiting. It is not the wishful hope that draws wealth, but the firm conviction that you are capable, deserving, and ready. The law works through your imagination, and it gives form to every thought that is held with persistence and faith. When the millennial embraces a definite vision, all obstacles begin to serve as guides rather than hindrances. Every seeming difficulty is an opportunity to strengthen belief, refine purpose, and act with determination. Daily practice is essential in holding this vision. It is not enough to glance at it occasionally or speak of it in passing. The conscious mind must feed it continually, through affirmations, visualization, and steadfast expectation. Speak words that support the image you carry. Let no doubt enter, for doubt weakens the magnetic power of your thought. When you consistently hold the mental picture, the subconscious mind begins to work in harmony, influencing decisions, attracting resources, and opening doors that otherwise remain hidden. The young entrepreneur, the digital creator, or the skilled professional must learn to dwell in this inner picture, to nurture it as a sacred seed of creation. It is also vital to align emotions with the vision. A clear picture in the mind alone is insufficient if the heart does not feel it. Emotions are the currents that give energy to your thoughts. Joy, gratitude, and certainty magnify the magnetic power of the vision, while fear, worry, and hesitation diminish it. The law responds not merely to thought, but to feeling. The millennial must cultivate the attitude of already having, of being fully at peace with the abundance they envision, and of expecting its manifestation naturally. When gratitude accompanies the vision, the invisible forces move more freely, supplying means, ideas, and circumstances in exact proportion to the intensity and purity of expectation. Many fail to hold a definite vision because they are influenced by opinions, trends, or fears of the world. The mind that conforms easily to the beliefs of others cannot command wealth. To be successful, one must choose the inner vision and remain faithful to it, regardless of outer circumstances. Wealth is not measured by the absence of challenge, but by the persistence of faith. Challenges test the clarity of the vision and provide opportunities to affirm its truth more wrongly. Each time the mind reasserts the picture, each time the heart remains confident, the magnetic current grows stronger, drawing closer the realization of the desire. Action follows vision naturally. When the mind is definite, inspired ideas arise, doors open, and opportunities present themselves with ease. A vague desire produces vague action, hesitation, and scattered effort. But the young person who sees with clarity knows what to do, when to act, and which steps align with the ultimate aim. The law works through the orderly unfolding of ideas, people, and circumstances to bring the vision into reality. Every opportunity that appears is a reflection of the inner picture, and the individual who is alert recognizes the guiding hand of infinite intelligence behind the sequence of events. The power of a definite vision also purifies desires. When the mind is clear about what it seeks, it naturally rejects distractions, wasteful effort, and negative influences. The millennial who embraces clarity develops discernment, choosing associations, habits, and work that serve the vision rather than deplete energy. Each day becomes a conscious step in alignment with the mental picture, and life itself begins to reflect the inner design. Wealth, in this sense, is not accidental or hurried. It is the natural unfolding of thought, faith, and inspired action combined. The law of abundance does not require struggle, for struggle is born of uncertainty and conflict. When the vision is definite, the path becomes smoother, guidance is clear, and the necessary resources appear. The young seeker learns to hold the mental image with calm confidence, trusting that the law is impartial, exact, and ever responsive. The persistent holding of a definite vision becomes a force that shapes circumstances, aligns opportunities, and calls forth the manifestation of the desires held. Thoughts and words create wealth, aligning beliefs and affirmations with financial success. Every word you speak, every thought you entertain is a creative force that shapes your world. The young millennial today is surrounded by voices, trends, and advice. Yet the secret of wealth lies not in the noise outside, but in the harmony of thought and word within. Thoughts are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the mind, and words are the spoken declaration that sends those seeds into the universe to grow. If your thoughts are filled with fear, lack, or doubt, they will produce experiences of limitation. If your words are careless, negative, or hesitant, they will erect barriers rather than doors. Therefore, the first step in wealth building is the careful cultivation of thought, followed by the deliberate use of language, for it is through these instruments that your outer reality is formed. The mind is a powerful magnet. It attracts what it pictures and what it expects. A young person who constantly worries about bills, debts, or lack is, in truth, inviting more scarcity. The law does not distinguish between desire and fear. It responds to the image most impressed upon the consciousness. To command wealth, it is essential to picture abundance, to think in terms of possibilities rather than limitations, and to speak words that affirm prosperity rather than deny it. Every morning, the millennial seeker should take time to form thoughts of success, visualize income and resources flowing, and declare these affirmations with conviction. The spoken word is a declaration to the universe, a signal that sets the law into motion, shaping circumstances, opportunities, and even the people who enter one's life. Words spoken with authority and faith are far more potent than idle prayers or vague hopes. Many speak of wanting wealth but mutter complaints about taxes, expenses, or the economy. Such words are like seeds of barrenness, producing conditions that reflect the negativity held within. Instead, the young seeker should train the tongue to speak of progress, opportunity, and the steady increase of resources. Words of gratitude for what already exists, no matter how small, amplify the flow of abundance. Gratitude is the recognition of supply, and the law responds to acknowledgement rather than lamentation. The conscious use of positive words, aligned with vision and belief, multiplies opportunities and opens doors that seemed firmly closed. It is not merely the external statements that matter, but the inner dialogue that guides every action. Many young minds are filled with conflicting thoughts, doubts, and comparisons to others. This inner chatter, left unchecked, becomes the invisible script that governs reality. Wealth is drawn to those who discipline their inner mind, replacing fear with faith, hesitation with determination, and worry with expectation. Each thought becomes a blueprint, and each word a decree. To neglect the inner conversation is to allow scarcity to define the path. To speak with precision, positivity, and purpose is to align every mental and spoken act with the flow of abundance. The law of mind is impartial. It does not favor the rich or the poor, the young or the old. It responds to the clarity, consistency, and faithfulness of thought and word. The millennial who cultivates disciplined thought recognizes that gossip, doubt, complaints, and envy are drainers of energy, while focus, optimism, and affirmations are channels of supply. Each word spoken in confidence and expectation attracts corresponding circumstances. When you speak of growth, opportunity, and innovation, you are directing invisible forces to manifest these conditions. When you dwell on fear, limitation, and lack, you are unwittingly giving those forms power over your life. To strengthen this creative ability, daily practice is necessary. Begin each day with conscious affirmations of abundance, speaking them aloud as if they are already true. Visualize financial freedom, entrepreneurial success, or mastery of a skill, and articulate these visions with confidence. Let every word reinforce the belief that wealth is your natural state. Reject the habit of complaining or recounting obstacles, for the law responds to the persistent picture and spoken decree, not to passing thoughts of misfortune. The young seeker who masters thought and speech gains access to the infinite resources that surround them and finds that circumstances rearrange themselves in harmony with inner conviction. The law also works through action inspired by thought and word. When you think clearly and speak positively, ideas arise spontaneously, doors appear, and opportunities present themselves that were previously unseen. The young entrepreneur, the digital creator, or the ambitious professional notices patterns, insights, and pathways that are direct results of the inner alignment of mind and speech. Thoughts inspire action, and words give courage and authority to that action, creating a rhythm in which effort flows effortlessly and results manifest naturally. It is essential to remember that the spoken word carries vibrational power beyond the immediate audience. Even unspoken words, whispered or meditated upon, leave impressions upon the subconscious mind, shaping habits, reactions, and the lens through which reality is perceived. To build wealth, one must therefore monitor the mind continually, keeping thoughts constructive, imaginative, and faith-filled. Negative assumptions about money, about oneself, or about the world are self-fulfilling. They act as barriers to the abundance that is already present in invisible form, waiting for recognition and alignment. Faith is the partner of thought and word. Belief that the spoken word carries creative potency ensures that every declaration becomes active in the unseen realm. The millennial who trusts this law finds that resistance, delay, and obstacles are only temporary shadows, dissolving as persistence, clarity, and confidence prevail. Every word spoken in expectancy strengthens the invisible current of supply, drawing circumstances, collaborators, and resources into alignment with the inner vision. The law operates tirelessly, quietly, and impartially, responding only to the consistency, clarity, and emotional conviction of thought and speech. The young seeker must also guard against doubt and contradiction. To speak of lack and hope for wealth is to fight against the law. To affirm abundance and dwell on poverty is to scatter the magnetic force. Alignment of thought and word produces harmony, and harmony produces results. When both mind and tongue declare prosperity, the invisible currents of opportunity, insight, and fortune move to meet the expectation. It is this alignment that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes, and ordinary talent into extraordinary wealth. Courageous action and inspired ideas, acting boldly on opportunities without fear. The world rewards those who move with courage, those who act upon inspiration without hesitation, and those who trust the guidance of their inner voice. Many young seekers look upon opportunity and hesitate, waiting for perfect conditions, for full certainty, or for the approval of others. Yet the law of success moves swiftly with the decisive, the bold, and the faithful. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it, the willingness to proceed in alignment with vision despite uncertainty. The millennial who desires wealth must learn that inspired action, rooted in clarity and faith, is the vehicle by which thought is transformed into reality. Ideas alone, no matter how brilliant, are dormant unless acted upon. Likewise, action without inspiration often falters, producing effort without results. True prosperity emerges when inspired ideas are met with courageous action, creating a flow that draws wealth naturally and effortlessly. Every mind holds ideas waiting to be expressed. The young person today has access to information, networks, and resources beyond what previous generations could imagine, yet many fail to act. They analyze, compare, and delay, while the law of abundance works for those who move in faith. Inspiration is the spark that ignites action. It may come as a thought, a sudden insight, or a subtle prompting from within. It may seem small, fleeting, or even impossible, yet when the courageous individual acts upon it, the universe conspires to assist. The millennial must cultivate awareness of these inner promptings and trust them as guidance from the unseen intelligence that governs opportunity, fortune, and timing. Courage transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Challenges that appear insurmountable are often tests of persistence, faith, and clarity of vision. Fear, doubt, and hesitation feed stagnation, while boldness transforms uncertainty into progress. The mind that clings to excuses, procrastination, or safe paths cannot summon the full measure of success. To act courageously is to acknowledge the fear, to honor it, but to proceed anyway, trusting that every inspired step is supported by divine intelligence. The millennial who embraces this approach begins to notice that obstacles shift, that resources appear, and that people, circumstances, and events align to meet the action with assistance, guidance, and solutions previously unseen. Inspired action requires clarity of vision. The law responds to definite pictures held in the mind, and ideas that resonate with inner conviction carry the magnetic force that calls forth opportunity. The young seeker must picture not only the desired result but also the steps, actions, and decisions that align with the vision. Action is not blind or haphazard. It is informed by the inner knowing that whispers the correct pathway. The more aligned the action is with inspired thought, the greater the ease with which circumstances unfold. Hesitation or wandering steps dissipate the magnetic current, but resolute, faith-driven movement concentrates the energy, drawing success toward manifestation with precision. The fear of failure is the greatest hindrance to prosperity. Many millennials avoid risk, believing that security is safer than pursuit. Yet the law of abundance does not reward avoidance, it rewards initiative, perseverance, and faith. Every risk taken in alignment with vision, every leap of faith guided by inspired ideas, is a step closer to fulfillment. Failure is not defeat but feedback, a message that refines vision, strengthens courage, and provides insight for future action. The law works impartially, and every courageous act generates energy, momentum, and alignment with a universal flow of supply. Action inspired by inner guidance must be consistent. The law responds to persistence, repeated effort, and daily demonstration of commitment. Small, determined steps, taken consistently, compound into results that appear miraculous to the untrained eye. The young seeker who acts daily on ideas, even when progress seems slow, harnesses the invisible forces that govern success. Timing, opportunity, and resources align in proportion to persistence, and each act of faith strengthens the magnetic pull of prosperity. Courage is cultivated by repeated action. Confidence grows when each step proves that the inner guidance is trustworthy. The courage to act also requires detachment from outcome. Many hesitate because they fear judgment, loss, or criticism. Yet inspired action is not concerned with approval or immediate success. It is aligned with principle, vision, and faith. The millennial who trusts the invisible forces proceeds without attachment, knowing that every step taken in alignment with inspired thought produces the correct result, whether immediately visible or gradually revealed. This detachment allows for creativity, boldness, and flexibility, enabling the young seeker to navigate challenges with grace and to follow fresh inspiration as it arises. Courageous action and inspired ideas are often supported by collaboration and mentorship. The universe provides people, connections, and circumstances that facilitate the execution of ideas, but only to those who move. The young individual who acts consistently discovers allies, opportunities, and insights that appear as if by magic, yet the law is simply responding to the alignment of vision, faith, and action. Every idea carried forward with courage becomes a magnet for the resources, timing, and people necessary to bring it to fruition. The more open the heart and mind to assistance, the greater the manifestation of wealth and opportunity. Action also builds character and confidence. The millennial who consistently acts on inspiration discovers hidden strengths, talents, and capacities. Fear diminishes, doubt fades, and faith in the unseen law of abundance deepens. Courageous action is therefore both a means of material gain and a spiritual practice, refining the mind, strengthening the will, and harmonizing thought, word, and deed with the universal principles of supply. The young seeker learns that prosperity is not an external prize, but the natural outcome of inner alignment, clarity of purpose, and faithful execution of inspired steps. Ideas are like seeds, and courageous action is the planting of those seeds in the fertile soil of opportunity. Neglect or hesitation allows ideas to wither, yet every step taken, no matter how small, nurtures growth. Action produces momentum, and momentum produces results. The law operates without fail. It responds to the magnetic force of vision made real through movement. The millennial who trusts in this process finds that ideas multiply, opportunities expand, and wealth flows not as a struggle but as the inevitable expression of alignment with the infinite intelligence that governs prosperity. Abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, cultivating an inner expectation of prosperity. The mind is a fertile field, and the seeds it bears are either those of abundance or of limitation. To the young millennial, the difference between wealth and lack lies not in circumstances, but in the mental attitude held within. Those who dwell on scarcity, fear, and competition unknowingly attract conditions that mirror these thoughts, while those who cultivate an abundance mindset find the channels of supply opening naturally and effortlessly. The law is impartial. It does not judge or discriminate. It simply responds to the dominant thought, the persistent belief, and the inner expectation. To command prosperity, one must first examine the quality of thought and replace the habitual fear of lack with the confident expectation of plenty. Many young people have been taught that resources are limited, that life is a struggle, and that they must compete for every opportunity. This belief, deeply ingrained, produces hesitation, doubt, and anxiety. Scarcity thinking blocks the natural flow of abundance and restricts the ability to recognize opportunities already present. Every thought of insufficiency acts like a magnet, drawing circumstances that reflect limitation. The millennial who seeks wealth must recognize that the mental picture of lack produces experiences of lack, while the mental picture of plenty attracts the corresponding conditions. The mind shapes reality, and it is the dominant consciousness that determines the form and flow of life's supply. An abundance mindset begins with recognition of the unlimited potential in the world. The universe is rich, resources are infinite, and opportunities are waiting to be seized. To dwell in this awareness is to open channels that scarcity would otherwise close. Every young seeker must cultivate gratitude for what is already present, no matter how small, and recognize that each step of progress is evidence of supply already at work. Gratitude strengthens the magnetic current, amplifies expectation, and harmonizes the mind with the law that governs provision. Scarcity cannot exist where the mind expects, receives, and acknowledges abundance. The power of belief cannot be overstated. Those who habitually think in terms of limitation often unconsciously sabotage their own opportunities. Fear, worry, and doubt produce hesitation, and hesitation prevents action. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, produces confidence, initiative, and faith in one's ability to attract and receive. It is the mental attitude that allows the young individual to see possibilities where others see obstacles, to create solutions rather than dwell on problems, and to move forward with trust that every inspired step will yield results. Belief in abundance becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, drawing resources, people, and circumstances into alignment with the vision held. Visualization is a vital tool in the cultivation of an abundance mindset. The young seeker must picture wealth, opportunity, and success not as distant dreams, but as present realities in the mind. The law responds to the mental image with precision, and persistent visualization strengthens the magnetic power of thought. Picture yourself succeeding, earning, creating, and contributing. See doors opening, people assisting, and resources flowing. The more vivid, consistent, and emotionally charged the image, the more powerful its manifestation. Scarcity, in contrast, produces images of limitation, fear, and struggle, which invariably attract similar conditions. Words reinforce the abundance mindset. Speak as though wealth, opportunity, and prosperity are already present. Affirmations, declarations, and expressions of faith serve as signals to the universe calling forth the corresponding experiences. Avoid language of lack, complaint, or doubt, for these words reinforce scarcity. The millennial who consistently aligns thought and speech with abundance activates the invisible law that governs supply, producing a life that reflects in near expectations. Every word spoken with faith becomes a decree, shaping the circumstances of life in harmony with the desired outcome. Action follows mindset. Those who dwell in scarcity hesitate, procrastinate, and doubt their decisions, while those with an abundance mindset act decisively, recognizing opportunity and responding without fear. Every inspired action taken in alignment with the expectation of plenty multiplies the results. The law works with consistency, persistence, and faith, rewarding initiative and boldness. The young seeker learns that wealth is not only mental but also practical, and that courage, decisiveness, and faith-driven action are essential to the manifestation of abundance. Scarcity thinking also breeds comparison, envy, and competition, which drain energy and disrupt the flow of prosperity. An abundance mindset, however, encourages generosity, collaboration, and trust. When the mind believes that there is plenty for all, it becomes open to sharing, teaching, and contributing. This openness attracts reciprocity, support, and unexpected resources, for the universe responds to the mental attitude of the individual as a whole. Every act of generosity, every cooperative effort, and every acknowledgement of others' success strengthens the current of abundance, increasing the capacity to receive. It is essential to recognize that scarcity is often an illusion, a habitual pattern of thought inherited or absorbed from society, family, or culture. The young seeker must examine these inherited beliefs and consciously replace them with the expectation of plenty. Affirmations, visualization, and conscious speech become tools of transformation, allowing the mind to reorient itself toward wealth. As the inner consciousness shifts from limitation to possibility, outer circumstances begin to mirror the change, and opportunities previously unseen become apparent. The law responds to persistent mental direction, producing results that appear as if by magic, yet are simply the natural unfolding of thought aligned with infinite supply. The abundance mindset is not only about attracting wealth but also about cultivating a harmonious relationship with the resources already present. Recognize and appreciate the talents, skills, knowledge, and opportunities at hand, and use them faithfully. The young millennial who invests effort and gratitude into what they already possess activates the law to provide more, creating a compounding effect that accelerates the manifestation of prosperity. Scarcity, in contrast, produces neglect, underutilization, and fear, which block natural growth and diminish potential. The mind that embraces abundance also remains resilient in the face of setbacks. Temporary delays, obstacles, or unexpected events do not diminish faith, for the inner expectation of plenty remains firm. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to reaffirm belief, adjust action, and maintain alignment with the infinite source. The young seeker learns that persistence, faith, and clarity of expectation are far more powerful than circumstance, and that abundance is the inevitable outcome of a mind trained to see, expect, and act in alignment with limitless supply. Multiplying skills and digital assets, turning knowledge and talents into sustainable income. Every talent, skill, and piece of knowledge you possess is a seed with the potential to multiply beyond imagination. The young millennial stands in a world overflowing with tools, technologies, and digital opportunities, yet many fail to realize the power inherent in their abilities. Skills are not merely instruments for earning a wage, they are the seeds of wealth that, when nurtured, cultivated, and shared, grow exponentially. The law of prosperity responds to effort wisely directed, to persistent refinement, and to faith that what is invested in the invisible world of ability and knowledge will return manifold in the visible world. To command wealth, the young seeker must recognize the potential of their unique abilities and dedicate themselves to expanding, honing, and multiplying them through creative application and strategic distribution. The digital age offers a remarkable advantage, the ability to scale and multiply skills without the physical limitations of time and space. A single skill, when leveraged through technology, can serve thousands, even millions, and generate returns far beyond traditional labor. Yet the law is impartial. It responds not to desire alone, but to mastery, focus, and inspired effort. The millennial who cultivates a skill with patience, diligence, and vision creates a foundation for wealth that grows naturally as others benefit from their ability. Mastery attracts opportunity, recognition, and reward, for the universe responds to excellence as readily as it responds to vision. Investing in oneself is the cornerstone of multiplying skills. Every hour devoted to learning, refining, and innovating strengthens the capacity to contribute, produces confidence, and enhances value. Knowledge is never stagnant. It increases when shared, applied, and transformed into new ideas. The young individual who studies trends, hones technical abilities, and expands creative capacities positions themselves to act decisively when opportunity appears. The law of abundance favors the prepared mind, and skill multiplied through consistent effort becomes a magnet for fortune. Each step of learning, each experiment, and each act of disciplined practice enhances not only competence, but also the invisible attractor of opportunity and supply. Digital assets, when aligned with skill, amplify wealth exponentially. A course, a digital product, a video series, or an online platform can carry your knowledge and creativity far beyond the confines of time, location, or traditional labor. Yet the invisible law operates through clarity of purpose, faithful effort, and alignment with universal principles. To create digital assets that multiply, the millennial must recognize the value inherent in their expertise and commit to delivering it in a form that serves others. Every product, every skill shared in an authentic and accessible manner becomes a channel through which abundance flows, for the law responds to both value offered and belief in the success of the endeavor. Consistency and persistence are vital in multiplying skills and digital assets. The law rewards those who persist in development, refinement, and creative application. One skill applied once produces results, but a skill applied repeatedly, improved upon, and adapted to changing needs creates momentum that attracts recognition, opportunity, and financial return. The young seeker who commits to continual learning and application finds that the effort compounds. Small improvements, repeated actions, and the faithful sharing of ability generate a magnetic field that draws resources, collaborators, and avenues for further expansion. The universe multiplies what is applied with faith and ingenuity, responding to the consistent effort of a focused mind. Sharing skills with the world enhances their power. Knowledge hoarded is dormant, but knowledge applied to the service of others grows. The millennial who creates, teaches, or distributes digital products, online services, or educational content multiplies their ability to generate wealth. Each person served becomes a part of the invisible network that returns energy, influence, and reward. The law of circulation ensures that value shared flows back in abundance, and that the more one gives in alignment with purpose, the more the resources of the universe respond with equal or greater measure. Creativity is the multiplier of skill. Skills alone are limited by conventional application, but imagination transforms them into new products, solutions, and experiences that can reach vast audiences. The young individual who combines skill with creativity finds that each innovation attracts attention, opportunity, and compensation. The law works through inspired ideas, and the courage to act on them produces growth beyond calculation. Digital platforms, social media, and online networks amplify the reach of skill, making the combination of talent, imagination, and persistent effort a powerful magnet for wealth. Faith in one's ability is essential. Doubt diminishes momentum, uncertainty blocks opportunity, and hesitation reduces the force of action. The millennial who believes in the multiplying power of their skills and digital creations activates the unseen forces of provision. The law responds to expectation, confidence, and clarity. Why of purpose? Every act performed in faith, every course created, every service offered, every skill applied with intention, becomes a seed planted in the fertile field of the universe, awaiting growth and return. Adaptability also strengthens the multiplication of skill. The digital world is fluid, trends shift, and opportunities evolve, yet the prepared, flexible mind converts change into advantage. By observing, learning, and adjusting, the young seeker ensures that skills remain relevant and assets continue to generate abundance. The law of prosperity favors the responsive mind, the one attuned to invisible guidance, and the individual who applies skill with intelligence, imagination, and persistence. Finally, the young millennial must recognize that the value of skill lies in its alignment with purpose and service. True wealth is the natural byproduct of ability multiplied and applied to the benefit of others. The law does not reward effort that is selfish, disconnected, or misaligned. Skills offered with integrity, authenticity, and intention create not only income but influence, opportunity, and fulfillment. Each digital asset created, each skill refined and shared, becomes a channel for continuous growth, attracting wealth, recognition, and resources in proportion to the value given and the faith held in the process.